Welcome back. Now we got to the first HurricanED IQ tool. This is the one where this is to use your intelligence. Kind of an eye chart right now, but I'm going to take a minute to explain it and go through it quickly. It's a good thing to print off, have at your disposal at your school to go over, and it's an excellent tool, especially using a debrief. So let's talk about how I made the tool. Okay, we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to work around the HurricanED tool. We're going to go from biggest to smallest. We're going to start with your organization. Then we're going to cover your policies and some of your procedures. And then we're going to talk about how you can use external people to help. And then we're going to talk about you on the boat. That's all on there. This is a collection of all the resources and everything that's available to you every time you go out sailing, before you go sailing, while you're sailing, and after you go sailing, to use this cycle of managing risk. So starting at the bottom. Right at the bottom is your operations. You need to review this often to decrease risk. These are your policies and procedures, your routine evolutions on how your company intends to be successful. This is the flows and the processes that get the boats off the dock and back to the dock safely and routinely. So for solid operation, this needs to be solid. You must have I also add in here, you should have a signed agreement laying out what's expected and what behaviors will not be allowed by instructors and students. These are great things. Why? Because great leaders rely on rules and policies, not on subjective opinions. Opinions doesn't lead to a solid operation. It leads to infighting, divisions, haves and have-nots. What you want to do is strongly follow policies and procedures. Now, as the owner and the leaders of a school, it could be your opinions that create those policies and procedures that everyone has to follow. However, they should be grounded and solid and vetted over with good feedback and everybody on board. But you need to have policies and procedures because great leaders follow rules. When you follow opinions, it leads to a breakdown of organizations. So, here's a quick example. Shall we? No side talking while instructors are instructing. So, if an instructor is talking, students are not allowed to talk. I don't care if that student is paying you a ton of money. They're on a much bigger boat. If it's a policy, this isn't your personal opinion. You can say, "Excuse me, sir, when I'm instructing, please don't interrupt." You begin to instruct again. "Ma'am, Bob just asked me a question and I'm answering it. So while I'm answering him, I'm going to ask you not to talk and not to have conversations on the side. We're here out learning. I want everyone paying attention." Make sense? And you saw that in the rules that you signed before we came out here today, correct? Okay, Sally, so we have no problems? All right, great, thanks. Just pay attention. Just quick reminders. It's so important that you have things like that. Otherwise, you can have a lot of egos and a lot of competitions and a lot of opinions going on. Set your policies up. It's the backbone of your operation. Okay, so we stick that at the bottom of the HurricanED IQ tool. Next, we've got your checklists and briefs. These are your repetitive actions. Ensure that you use checklists, all right? Items you need to check, maybe even items that must be frequently checked or infrequently checked. So whether you're checking rarely or frequently, it's good to have these things down so that there is no confusion. Also, briefing your crew. Brief your crew on certain things that you like to say. So if you have a lot of experience and you have a standard brief that you give to your crew, make sure you teach others to use that same brief. For instance, if you see something safety related, say something. Own your voice. So even if you have a new person on the boat, if you see another boat, maybe they're really far off, but you're worried about hitting them. Say something. You want to create on boat the ability for feedback to come and communication. You can bring that process on, but make sure you brief them. If you see something, say something. All right, and if you feel something's missing, speak up. Encourage your crew to speak up. All right. Also, here's another few things. Brief your crew. Hey, here's what can go wrong. So, this is what we'll do if this or that happens. Whether it's a man overboard drill, whether it's docking, whether it's a constant bearing, decreasing range situation with another boat, food, how we're going to eat, snack, get water, someone always at the helm, whatever it is that you want to brief your crew on how you want to run your boat, have that down and repetitively do it and hold that standard. All right. Also, if an instructor is with a student who is learning a skill, other students should stay alert and diligent without interrupting the instructor, but interrupt that instructor for safety-specific issues, collisions, and other safety things. All right, next. All right, the next quadrant we're going to talk about is still along the line of your policies and procedures, but I give it your auto technologies and automatic duties aboard. This is where you can say, hey, I posted a watch schedule. I posted a cleaning schedule. I posted a maintenance schedule. This is who's going to do it. This is when they're going to do it. This is why they're going to do it, or what they're going to do, and this is when they're going to do it. What else is good? Like a man overboard button on your helm that puts a GPS position if there's a man overboard event. It's an automatic technology that can help decrease your stress in the event of a man overboard drill. Also, your charts, backing your charts up with your phone using, Navionics, using some sort of chart plotter, digital or otherwise, using things like AIS, a personal EPIRB or an EPIRB for your boat. Using those auto technologies can do a lot to reduce your stress level in the riskiest situation. Okay. Auto responses. A great one I got from Grant Hedefin was, I have the helm. When he says that when he's sailing, that means everyone on board stops talking and they listen to the captain or the instructor. I have the helm. It's everyone knows. Just like man overboard, all eyes go on the captain. He assigns a spotter, and then he deploys the personal flotation devices, and he's deploying some throw lines, right? Then he's going to maneuver the boat to come back around and pick up the man overboard. All right. Boat traffic. We all know calling out boat traffic with the clock angle, and then whether you think it's a factor or not a factor. Okay. Those are auto responses or auto technologies that can help manage your boat. Next, these are things that are external to your boat, external resources, right? Charts, crewmates, briefings, and experts, people and materials that you can count on to reach your desired end state, other than you. Great for the debrief. Hey, what could I use today? Who should I have called before in the planning? Who could I have called while I was out at sea? My cell phone did work. I was only 3 miles offshore. Maybe I could have called someone. Maybe I could have had the number to my avionics company, whatever it is. Where you reach, this is where you're going to reach out to someone outside of your head. Other mariners, other crew, meteorologists, locals, websites, mechanics, whatever. Utilizing what? The internet, your radios, all the resources that you have available. Okay? All right. The last quadrant we have is your boat shoes. This is about you. You have knowledge. You have an education. You have a background, and you need to own that. We talked about that before, owning your biome. You have your experience, your skills, and your techniques. This is backing up everything that you're doing. Trust yourself. We are living in the age of new, right? New and free. So new technology is coming, and it's coming cheaper. It's making it more accessible. So as we get on a boat and we start getting our heads deep into some new technology, don't forget what you did before, right? We get so wrapped up in the newness of some technologies, we forget just to sail the boat the way we did 100 years ago. Don't forget your techniques. Don't forget your experience. And don't forget your education that you've earned along the way. All of that is backing up everything that you do. Okay, trust yourself. Don't put yourself in over your head. But when it happens, keep your head and fight back with every skill that you have. It's very important for you to own your bio. I put down there, it's not about you. I haven't introduced that concept yet. We're going to do that a little bit later, so I'll hold off on that. But that'll mean a lot more to you later on. However, the next bullet is use everything you are to achieve your desired end state and never give up. Okay, so These are the resources and the policies and procedures that either are in place or aren't in place. So if you're an instructor and some of this brings some things like, hey, well, I need to do some of this stuff at my school. Or maybe clues in your head, you know what, I've wanted to do something, but I never said anything. This is the time to bring it up to the head instructor. Maybe you're the owner of the school as well. This is something that you want to think about. This type of thing, you can change this thing up, make it however you want, but have a one place go-to to brief and debrief everything that's available, just to jog your memory and make sure you have all those things available. Because guess what? Great sailors are going to go out there and have a great mellow sail. And when something changes or something goes into the alert mode, boom, they're going to have a method to get back to it. So the key, and I put it right in the eye of the storm, right in the middle, is own your bio. Okay? This is about your reputation. Okay? Okay. Last thing I put up is the mellow, change, and alert. I put that in the top, bottom, left, and right. Remember, we're out there to have a mellow sail. Something's going to change. We can use all this stuff in here. Something goes to alert. You have all that stuff in there. What do we want to do? Return to a mellow state of sail. Push off the dock, come back to the dock, or get on the hook. All right. Thank you. Now that we've covered everything in the HurricanED IQ tool about using your intelligence and your resources based upon all these changing risk factors, okay, next we're going to go into the crew factors. This is where we get into the emotional intelligence elements that are going to make you aware of what risks and traps your crew can create for you and derail your boat from having and reaching your desired end state. All right. Thanks for your time and attention. We'll see you on the next lesson.